Hi everyone, it's Mrs. Friebolin back again with some more of Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's library. It is such a gorgeous day that I had to take the opportunity to do today's reading from in my backyard. So I'm hoping you can see me okay. I know it's really sunny out here. But the most important thing is that you hear of what's happening in Mr. Lemoncello's library. We are on chapter 37. Ever wonder if this could reek any more? Said Akimi, because it couldn't. Yo, none of us pulled a clunker card, said Miguel. That means Charles's team did it. Akimi and Miguel are right, Kyle, said Sierra. This isn't fair. I know, was all Kyle could say, but it's like in Mr. Lemoncello's family frenzy. If one player pulls an orthodontist card, everyone has to move back 7 spaces and buy braces. Kyle and his teammates were back in community meeting B. They had been staring at the clue board, wondering what a wailing blackbird had to do with Willy Wonka and the 10 Commandments. Not to mention the long list of books and all the statues, when a voice in the ceiling made the announcement about the Dewey Decimal doors being locked for 14 hours. Well, Mr. Lemoncello better have a good reason, said Akimi. Oh, I do, said Mr. Lemoncello. His face appeared on one of the meeting room walls, which was really a giant plasma screen video monitor. Team Kyle is not penalized for Team Charles's blunder. Far from it. In fact, you are going to be rewarded. Akimi arched an eyebrow in disbelief. Really? How? The other team's penalty gives you a wrinkle in time. A wrinkle in time, said Kyle. Is that a clue? No, it's a book. And by the way, the book was a lot better than the movie. Thanks to the clunker card, you have the gift of wrinkle time to seek clues outside the 10 Dewey Decimal rooms. Speaking of time, a magazine that's available in our periodical section. Oh, and it's dinner time. So the game is basically suspended until 10 o'clock tomorrow, said Kyle. Well, Kyle, that's up to you. You can use this time as a bonus to think, read, and explore. Or you can run upstairs and play video games all night long. The choice is yours. Well, we want to win this game, said Kyle. His teammates not in agreement. Wondrous, said Mr. Lemoncello. Keep working. The puzzle, but try to avoid Mrs. Baisley Frankwaller's files, because they're all mixed up. My class should know what that means. And before you turn in this evening, you might want to spend some time curled up with a good book. They just said the book rooms are locked, said Akimi. The nice lady in the ceiling was only talking about the 10 Dewey Decimal rooms. There is plenty of fiction in the Rotunda reading room. Dr. Zinchenko has even selected 7 books, especially for our 7 remaining contestants. After dinner, you'll find those books on her desk. When he said that, Mr. Lemoncello started winking. I think you'll find the books to be very enlightening, inspirational even. And then he winked some more. And now, I must return to my side of the mountain. See you in the morning, children. I have great expectations for you all. Mr. Lemoncello's image disappeared from the wall. Okay. From the way Mr. Lemoncello was just blinking, either somebody kicked a bucket of sand in his face, or our recommended reading list is another clue. On the other side of the rotunda, Charles huddled with Andrew in meeting room A. I don't trust Haley, he said. Why not? Charles placed his hand on Andrew's shoulder. Well, my friend, I'm not sure I should tell you this, but Haley told me she doesn't think you're handsome enough to be in Mr. Lemoncello's commercials. Because of my glasses? Said Andrew. Charles nodded. Of course, I totally disagree. I see, said Andrew. Then she doesn't get to see what we found in the Anne of Green Gables book. Very well, Andrew, if that's how you want to play it. You bet I do. Fine, let's go see what's for dinner. I'm starving. When Charles and Andrew entered the cafe, the Keeley team was already inside filling the trays. Way to go, Charles. You guys pulled a clunker, said Miguel. Indeed we did. But not even that bit of bad luck can derail our team. Huh? We're gonna win, said Andrew. Charles and Andrew crossed from the far side of the room to join Haley, who was sitting in the corner. Did you find any clues this afternoon? She asked. Sadly, no, said Charles. All we found was that door-locking penalty, said Andrew, who could lie almost as well as Charles. How about you, Haley? Find anything interesting? Nope, nada. She yawned and then finished her dinner. I think I'm going to head upstairs and go to bed early. Really? It's only 8:45. I know, but I am so tired. Plus, I want to get up bright and early before the doors open. We have more clues to find. See you guys tomorrow. Unless we have something to discuss? No? Nothing, said Charles, and she walked out of the cafeteria. Chapter 38. Very interesting, said Akimi. What? I think Clarence just dropped off our books. Kyle pushed back from the table. He could see a shadowy figure of the bulky security guard slinking away. Come on, let's go see what the inspirational reading is Dr. Jacenko has selected for us. What about those guys, said Miguel. Kyle was torn. On one hand, he didn't want to give away the bonus his team had received because of their team's penalty. But on the other hand, he didn't want people saying he and his friends won because Mr. Lemoncello gave them an extra clue when they didn't share. He came up with a compromise. Charles, Andrew, we're going to grab some books to kill some time before tomorrow's morning. You might want to do the same thing. No thanks, said Charles. We pretty much have it all figured out. In fact, I think Mr. Lemoncello gave us the clunker card so we wouldn't win so easily. I mean, how would it look if we escaped from the library in less than 24 hours? Bad, said Andrew. Real bad. Indeed, said Charles. In fact, I suspect nobody would buy Lemoncello games anymore if we show them how easy they are to win. Anyway, we're going to go upstairs so I can give Andrew a tour of my private suite. Anyone want to join us? No thanks, said Akimi. Suit yourself. And by the way, Mr. Lemoncello has a real video game console upstairs. Kyle felt his mouth go dry. It's top-of-the-line equipment, and it plays real games, not just educational stuff. Are you sure you don't want to come up, Keely? We're going to play Squirrel Squad 6, the new edition. According to the game box, it's not even going to be released until December. Kyle felt sweat on his forehead. His palms were moist. His fingers were twitching, itching to get that joystick. But finally, he changed his mind. No thanks, Charles. We're just going to, read. After Charles and Andrew headed up to the third floor to play what was probably the most awesome version ever of Mr. Lemoncello's most awesome video game ever, Kyle and his teammates hurried to see what books were waiting for them on the librarian's table. They found 7 different books with 7 different versions of the same book, the complete Sherlock Holmes. One was a leather-bound limited edition. The other was a tattered paperback. 3 were hardcovers with different illustrations on their fronts. One was a bigger kind of paperback with lots of scholarly essays, and the 7th was an e-reader. I think Mr. Lemoncello wants us to start a book club, said Sierra. What do you mean, said Kyle. We all read the same book and then we get together to discuss it. It's fun, said Miguel. We have a book group at school. Are you in it, said Sierra. Yeah, maybe you should join us sometime. I would like to. Thank you, Miguel. Akimi cleared her throat. Now what, she said to Kyle. Like I told Charles, said Kyle, we read. Everybody grabbed a copy of Sherlock Holmes. Nobody went for the e-reader. Upstairs on the 3rd floor, Haley tiptoed around the memorabilia room. When she visited the mini-museum earlier, she hadn't really looked around. Now she hoped to find another book from the memorable reads. On display was a little golden book called Baby Mother Goose Pat a Cake, which would have been something Mr. Lemoncello read or had read to him when he was a very young boy. Haley made her way past the orderly stacks of boxes, through a doorway into what looked like a recreation of Mr. Lemoncello's childhood bedroom, a cramped space crammed with 2 bunk beds that he had shared with his 3 brothers. Next to one on the lower bunks was a bookcase made out of plastic milk crates. There it was, filed away with maybe 3 dozen other skinny books. Haley pried open the cover. Out popped a 4x4 card. I hope you can see it in the sunlight. It's a baby crawling and then the word ED. She quickly folded it in half and stuffed inside her sneaker with the bandit's clue, because now she was pretty sure that bandits had at one time or another crawled into the building when it was a bank. The silhouette of the Indiana didn't represent the Indianapolis 500 like Charles said. It stood for the word IN, which was the abbreviation of Indiana. First thing in the morning when the doors opened, she needed to search through the Dewey Decimal rooms to find the clue that would tell her exactly how and when and where the bandits crawled in. A tunnel, an air vent, a secret passageway. On the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd floor, there was only one thing Haley was certain of. They didn't crawl through the book return slot. So she already got stuck there. Chapter 39. Everyone in the reading room was quietly lost in their adventures of Sherlock Holmes. Kyle had just finished a pretty cool story called A Scandal in Bohemia, about a king who was going to get married to a heiress with maybe 6 names. But the king was being blackmailed by an old girlfriend, an opera singer from New Jersey. Something Sherlock Holmes said to Dr. Watson early in the story stuck with Kyle. You see, but you do not observe. Kyle figured that was why Mr. Lemoncello wanted them to take a break from chasing clues and read these mysteries. Not only to find clues, but to become better puzzle solvers. Had they been seeing things without really observing? Probably. Reading the story was also kind of fun. Kyle could totally see Holmes's apartment at 221B Baker Street, and the snooty king and the horse-drawn carriages on the foggy London streets, and the disguises that Holmes wore, and the smoke bomb Dr. Watson tossed through the window and screamed fire. It was like watching a 3D IMAX movie in his head. Kyle couldn't wait to start the second story in the book, The Adventure of the Red-Headed League. How's it going? Said Akimi. This book is cool. This Sir Arthur Conan Doyle guy really knows how to keep readers hooked. His characters leap off the pages, said Sierra. Yes, said Miguel. I dig the consulting detective. Huh? Said Kyle. That's what Holmes calls himself sometimes. Oh, I've only read one story so far, and... Suddenly something seemed odd to Kyle. Hey, how come Conan Doyle's statue isn't up there with the others? What do you mean, said Akimi. He's a famous author, right? How come they're projecting a statue of a modern writer like Pseudomus Bosch, but an author who created Sherlock Holmes isn't there? Good question, said Miguel. I need to consult with my brother Curtis. How come? Curtis has read more books than anyone I know, except for maybe Sierra. He scored an 808 on his SAT subject test in literature. Kyle, I think the top score was 800. Yeah, then Curtis took it and they had to raise the score. So maybe they can help us figure out what's with the statue, said Miguel. Exactly. Why these 10? Why not 10 other writers? Why not the same 10 Bridget Wage had for her extreme challenge? Kyle looked around the room. Mrs. Tobin, hello, Mrs. Tobin. How may I help you, Kyle? She said as the hologram appeared. I'd like to talk to an expert. And whom would you wish to speak to? Mr. Curtis Keeley, your brother, and an SAT certified expert on the subject of literature and authors and other literary type junk. Suddenly the hologram vanished and Dr. Zinchenko's voice came over the speakers. This is a rather irregular request, Kyle. Hey, said Akimi, this whole game is rather irregular, don't you think? We just need more data, said Kyle, because like Sherlock Holmes says to Dr. Watson, it's a capital mistake to theorize before you have all your information. I take it you're enjoying the book, the librarian. Kyle gave the closest security camera a big thumbs up. Boo, yeah! I can't wait to see what the League of Redhead Gentlemen. Ah, yes, said Dr. Zinchenko. That's a fascinating story. I recently reread it myself. Very well, Kyle. We will contact your brother to determine if he does indeed qualify as a literary expert. It may take a while. No rush. I've got a good book to pass the time. Kyle was busy helping Holmes figure out the Redhead League with a very clever ploy pulled by some robbers to get a red-haired pawnbroker to leave his shop long enough for them to dig a tunnel. From the basement of the bank next door, the librarian's voice jolted him out of London and brought him back to Ohio. My apologies for the interruption, she said. Akimi, Miguel, and Sierra closed their books too. It was 11:15. Everyone was sleepy, had dreamy looks in their eyes, because they'd been kind of drifting off in their comfy reading chairs. What's up, said Kyle. We have arranged for your expert consultation with Mr. Curtis Keeley. Awesome. How do we do it? You and your expert have 5-minute video chat on my computer terminal, which is located behind the main desk. Kyle hurried over. His 3 teammates were right behind him. Your consultation begins now. And there was Curtis sitting in his computer at his bedroom. Hey, Curtis. Hey, Kyle. How's it going? Great. Kyle's older brother, Mike, popped in. Kyle! Kyle! Mike was chanting. Kyle had never had a cheerleader before. We need you to give us 110% there, little brother. Mike squinted. Who's the other guys? My teammates. Miguel, Sierra, and you know Akimi. You guys are a team, smart move. Even I can't win football games without the help of my team. Mike, Curtis, and I only have 5 minutes to work here. Cool, I'm out of here. Win, baby, win. Mike backpedaled out of the bedroom, making double fist pumps the whole way. You have 4 minutes remaining, said Dr. Zinchenko. Okay, Curtis, here's my question. What do these authors have in common? Kyle rattled off the list of statues in order, and Curtis stared at him for a really long time, and then he shook his head. I'm sorry, Kyle, I have no idea. Oh, we gotta do one more. Chapter 40. Real, said Kyle, you have nothing? Well, said Curtis, The only connection I can see is that Thomas Wolfe wrote Look Homeward, Angel, and Lewis Carroll wrote Through the Looking Glass. Both titles have the word look in them. But the two books are otherwise completely different, and so are the two authors. Kyle and his whole team stood there in silence, until Sierra jumped up and down. Of course, she shouted. Your time's up, said Dr. Zinchenko. Okay, Kyle said. Thanks, Curtis. That was really helpful. It was, said Sierra. The computer screen faded away. What's up, said Miguel. I think I know how to crack the statue code. There's a code, said Akimi. Who knew? It'll take time, said Sierra, and I need a computer. Okay, said Kyle. We'll be in our meeting room putting together a list of new Dewey Decimal numbers from the Bibliomania card, so we're ready to hit the ground running tomorrow. When Sierra set up the desktop computer, the rest of the team returned to the game. We should start flipping over cards and putting together a list of call numbers, Kyle said. Sounds like a plan. She plucked over the purple card. Lose a turn was all that was printed on the other side. Try a different color, said Miguel. Akimi flipped over a blue card. Take an extra turn. So Akimi flipped over all the other blue cards while Miguel flipped over all the purples. The purple cards all said lose a turn, and the blue ones all said take an extra turn. Kyle had been checking out the red and maroon piles. The red card says pick a yellow card. The maroon card says get a green. My grays do the same thing, said Miguel, only they're pick a pink, and the tan cards say go grab an orange. That leaves the colors we've already played. Kyle flipped over a yellow card. The square root of 48,629.2027129. What? Hang on. There's a calculator app on this computer. Kyle read the rest of the card. Find half of 4-40-30. Well, that's 22015, said Sierra. And the square root of 48,000 whatever is 220,05203. The Bible we already found. Akimi flipped through the list of cards. Same thing. They're all sending us back to the Bible. Ditto with the greens. All the clues go back to bird songs, warbles, and whistles. And the pinks all lead back to 027.4. I guess they really want to make sure that we found Get to Know Your Local Library. Which leaves the wild cards, said Akimi. She examined the orange deck. Find a rhyme for cart and paperbacks. Smart and zodiacs, tart and potato sacks. The art and artifacts room, said Miguel. Where we need to find a rhyme for Randy, Sandy, and Brandy. The Willy Wonka candy, said Miguel. So I'm guessing the game was only supposed to help us find the clues that we already found. But we need to know more numbers, said Miguel, because a library should be a no place for nobody. When Miguel made his pun, Kyle and Akimi both groaned. But then Kyle thought of something. That's why Mr. Lemoncello called our timeout bonus. He knew we needed a ton of time to find some new numbers. Then Sierra burst into the meeting room. You guys, I found a whole bunch of new numbers. What? Said Kyle, Akimi, and Miguel. Where? Up on the ceiling. Oh, I can't stop now. Okay, one more. Chapter 41. You need to look at the Wonder Dome, said Sierra. Huh, said Kyle. Sierra and her whole team were standing together outside Community Meeting Room B. She hadn't been this happy or excited for a long time. Sierra, what exactly are you suggesting? We all give ourselves a crick in the neck and stare at the ceiling? Okay, this is a game some of us play online called What's the Connection? I put up a list of authors, and you have to figure out how they're linked by the titles of their books. Wow, said Akimi. Sounds like fun. It is, believe me, and it's not easy. What have you figured out, said Miguel? Well, like Curtis said, Thomas Wolfe wrote Look Homeward, Angel, and Lewis Carroll wrote Through the Looking Glass. And that got me thinking and running computer searches. Stephen Sondheim wrote a book called Look, I Made a Hat. Maya Angelou, Even the Stars Look Lonesome. And Sudamish Bosch wrote This Isn't What It Looks Like. They all have the word look in the title, said Kyle. What about the other 5? Said Akimi, did they write lookbooks too? No, they're there for a different word. Huh? Booker T. Washington wrote Up from Slavery. Shel Silverstein, Falling Up. Dr. Seuss, Great Day for Up. George Orwell, Coming Up for Air. And Todd Strasser wrote a book called If I Grow Up. So the 10 statues give us 2 words. Yep, look and up. So I did. I looked up at the Wonder Dome. And do you see it? A string of numbers that drift across the 200 screen under the Star of David? 220.5203, said Miguel. Akimi punched Kyle. That's the bonus code thing you just showed me on the school bus. Of course, said Kyle. This is a Lemoncello game. He always hides secret codes in the screwiest places. Way to go, Sierra. Thanks, said Sierra, realizing how much fun it was to play this kind of game with real friends instead of virtual ones on the internet. But we already found the same 200 number in Bibliomania, said Miguel. True, said Kyle. Check out the sections for numbers the cards wouldn't give us. Everybody crans their necks and focus on the graphics swimming across the 10 panels below. Here comes another one, Sierra, in the 600s, right underneath the floating stethoscope. Got it. 624.193. Woo! Said Akimi. Sierra, you're my hero, said Kyle. You saved the day. Sierra blushed. Thanks. The spinner, said Akimi. Huh? Said Miguel. That was another clue. The Bibliomania game was pointing us to the ceiling too, because the Dewey Decimal Mode, the Wonder Dome, looks like a 3D version of the board game spinner. Awesome, Sierra, said Miguel. Absolutely awesome. Sierra and her teammates stared up the ceiling for over an hour. At 2:30, they finally laid down on the floor so they wouldn't cramp their neck muscles. Because every 15 minutes, the ceiling looped through all the numbers of the Dewey Decimal Room in the library, except one, and then the sequence repeated himself. How come there's no 300 number, said Miguel? Probably because it's the one book we really, really, really need, said Kyle. That Lemoncello, said Akimi. What a comedian. I don't know about you guys, but I am getting excited. They are so close to solving this. And I really love how they did decide to work together as a team. And I want you to think about that. Is Charles's team really being a team if they're keeping things from each other? I think that gives us a big clue of who's going to win this game. All right, I'm going to stay out of my yard and enjoy this beautiful day. I hope you guys are getting outside someplace safe so you can walk and get some fresh air. And we will continue reading Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's Library later. Bye.